Hello everybody, welcome back to It's Current Year for another quick battle ladder replay. Today I'm up against ODM's Caradhran, who is taking the Warriors of Chaos. I'm playing some Wood Elves and we're on Alpine Ridge, usually a fairly decent map for the Wood Elves actually. There's a lot of space to Vanguard, and obviously there are a lot of Vanguarders in the Wood Elf roster, but we'll take a look at the armies first for each force. My opponent has a big long line of Marauders here, a couple of great weapons, a couple of just a shielded variant thrown in, so 5 regular, 3 great weapon variants. We have a bunch of Horsemen and Horse Masters, 2 to 1 on each flank, so 1, 2, and Horse Master, yep. 2 units of Chaos Knights, which is cool. This is actually one matchup where they're actually kind of decent. It can be a bit of a pain to deal with. They're quite a tough unit. They've got a lot of HP, a lot of armor, decent melee grinders as well. So you sort of you just take it for granted that or take it as a given that you are going to be outmaneuvered. But the tankiness and the grindiness of the Chaos Knights in this matchup can be all right. Leading the force, we have Archaon up on Dorgar. He has a Slayer of Kings and taken the helm as well. What's it called? The Crown of Domination. He's got Fireball, Burning Head, and Stand Your Ground. All pretty much the standard kit for Archaon. So that's the Chaos Force. Pretty much deployed in his position and ready to rumble. For my list, out on the flank here, we have 2 units of Glade Riders. The other unit of Glade Riders Spears is on the other flank. 4 units of the Glade Riders with Hagbane Tips. Actually, 3 Hagbane Tips, 1 regular one. Couldn't quite afford all 4. Probably didn't need all 4 as Hagbane Tips either. Probably could have cut 1 more. For the infantry, I have Dryads, Eternal Guard, and a couple of Blade Singers. So just taking them for a bit of a test. I was playing a fair bit with the Wood Elves over this couple of days, and I was enjoying myself some Blade Singers. Good stats, real melee infantry blenders, great weapon damage, and the potential to have armor piercing and potentially extra base weapon damage against non-armored foes makes them reasonably versatile. Up in the air, we have the Sisters of Twilight. They're just up on Gwyndalore. I think I took the bow. Yeah, I did take the magic bow. So we have the Conjoined Destiny, and obviously the Eagle Quiver, which does do some good sniping. And for the caster today, I have a Spellsinger of Shadows. She has taken the Power Stone, Pendulum, a Enfeebling Foe, and Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma. Now, I did start her in the forest just to get a little bit of extra Winds of Magic through the, I believe it's called Blessing of the Ancients. So she'll stay there for a little bit and try and get as much sort of extra Winds of Magic as you can. There's the other unit of Glade Riders with shields. On we go. So I have a reasonably good idea of what my opponent's brought because I do have some vision through here. And we will push. Originally planned to push for the hill, and I decide after a little while that that's not necessary. Have unfortunately not to put them onto the spray fire mode. Should be moving them around to get some shots down the flanks and thin out the infantry. But you can see my Glade Riders here have loosed some shots in. Don't want to waste too much ammo here, so just forming up on the flank here. I see that obviously he does have a very large mobile core, the Knights, and a couple of Horse Masters on each flank. And now I realize, well, no need to engage him straight away. We're going to pull back with our infantry. We have the speed to do so. The Sisters are getting some nice spray fire. I do see Archaon here as well. Figure I can maybe get some damage into him before the fighting starts. And likewise down here, we have some Glade Riders ready to just press against the Marauder Horsemen, but they're going to get gutted down pretty badly. Probably didn't need to do this. I got a bit quick on the draw there, and they will catch some units here, which will sort of probably drag them back, and they'll take a lot of damage here, and I will end up unfortunately losing this unit without much value to be shown for it. Over here, it's going reasonably well. We did charge in against some Chaos Marauders, and we're getting some decent damage into the back of these Marauder Horsemen now that they are shooting into the rear and chasing these Hagbane Tips, but we are pulling back now that they turn their attention here. We've managed to break off these Marauders and get some damage in. Probably should have got a rear charge there on hindsight and tried to break them off. Now Archaon does nuke 1 unit of Blade Singers. I saw a nice opportunity to get on him and cause some damage, but they did get very bunched up and unfortunately Burning headed down. I get a nice Pendulum down, which will rout off some Chaos Marauders, but over this side Things aren't going all that well. I'm going to lose these Glade Riders, and these Marauders have overchased a little bit. Over on this side, things are going a little bit better. This unit of Glade Riders was sort of sacrificed just to blob things up a little bit, and I can push back now, I guess, with the Hagbane tips slowing down the Marauder Horsemasters here with their poison. But I am being hunted here by the Chaos Knights, and unfortunately my arrows here don't have a lot of AP. Actually, Glade Riders with Hagbane tips I think do have about 5 or 6 AP. For a non-AP unit, that's actually not too bad. But once again, we get a little bit too blobbed up around Archaon. And I saw Archaon here as a decent target for my Blade Singers. Granted, he's not infantry, so they don't get their bonus. But with the AP and the magic attacks, bypassing his physical resistance. But have a look at this. I do see it, and I do manage to pull back slightly, but that's a lot of value for Archaon there, and unfortunately he is going to go down. We are going to Enfeebling Foe Archaon, and we are going to try and chase him, but around here my Hagbane Tip Riders have unfortunately been sort of set upon by both the units of Knights and these two Marauder Horsemen. Still have 2 online, and they are reasonably healthy. Still 30 models here, still 41 models here, and we actually have some Blade Singers coming back to the fight over this side to maybe just muck things up a little bit and give us some breathing room as we shoot the gap here. But things are not looking great at this stage. We do get a Melkoths down on these Knights as they do charge back in, and with the anti-large and a bit of armor piercing here from both the Eternal Guard and then the armor piercing of the Blade Singers, we might be able to drag a few of them down, but we're trying to just basically reconsolidate our forces here. Some Dryads out here doing reasonable work against Marauders. Likewise over here, we have broken off a lot of the Chaos Infantry, but they are a little bit overextended, and you will notice this in a second, that they are brought back to the fight over here, and they will be sort of trying to reunite with the rest of the force. But at the moment we're looking a little bit thin on the ground. Our Blade Singers are pretty much dead, and they haven't achieved a lot, spoiler alert, as we do get another arrow off into Archaon to try and snipe him down. Our horsemen are just getting absolutely hunted by the Marauders, but we can kite and we can have them on skirmish mode well enough. I tried to get a pendulum down here. I had a fair bit of Winds of Magic left, but they were dodged, and unfortunately that was not a charge order. But we are getting the Dryads back in. We have a healthy unit of Eternal Guard, but look at the Knights. 43, 35, still a lot of unit models, a lot of HP left, and we can kind of kite all we like here, but we've just run out of ammo. The Sisters can maybe try and put the game on their back. I should really be trying to snipe Archaon here, but I see quite a blobbed amount of infantry, and I want to come and have another look at this because I wasn't all that worried about it during the game. But as I watched the replay once or twice, I noticed that Sisters are doing a lot of friendly fire here, and that was a bit disappointing. So Burning Head, I think the third one from Archaon, and they've all been pretty punishing to me. Both the units of Dryads are going to be burnt away and rout. And even though we have 47 Eternal Guards here, the anti-large and armor piercing against the Knights is handy. But once again, probably just doing more friendly fire here than I am anything else. And even with the Melkoths coming down on the Knights, they're still going to get a decent charge. Managed to get a counter charge with one unit of the Eternal Guard. And the Glade Riders with the Hagbane tips just don't really have anywhere to run at this point. And I think the micro from myself is pretty much non-existent at this point because I was typing GG to Caradhrian in the chat. So Sisters will keep plinking away here. Once again, managing to get a lot of shots into our own troops. And as I said, I didn't really notice this in the game. It wasn't until I actually watched the replay back that I watched this and thought, wow, that was, maybe a little bit unfortunate that the target, chose that spot and chose my my own troops as to be, sacrificed for the, to this spray fire mode. We're obviously getting some good shots here, but yeah, it's game over at this point. All I have left is the Sisters, and even though they have a little bit of ammo left, all I have left aside from that is the Gladbane tips. Yeah, that's I guess a bit of a tongue tie up, but the Glade Riders here are firing the last of their ammo. I'm surprised at this point that we haven't already hit army losses because Archaon's still alive. There's still 2 units of Knights. There's a bit of ammo on the field. I think I was just saying, well played in that to Caradhrian at this point. There's not much else for it, so we will put it on a bit of a fast play. Archaon will hunt down the Spellsinger. The Sisters will break and run back to the forest to report their loss to Ariel. But that is the game, and too good for me on this occasion was ODM's Caradhrian. So I mean, this is a pretty standard chaos list. It's a good chaos list into the Wood Elves. You've got a lot of shields. You've just got a lot of bodies. The Chaos Knights, like I said, decent value, both very healthy and both getting 800 or so damage. Just didn't really have an answer to them. You can kite them all you like with the Glade Riders, but you need something to actually kill them. And really, the only thing in this list, besides maybe the Sister of Twilight, who can take models off with their single fire shot, and maybe the Blade Singers if they got a nice counter charge or something like that. Nothing here is really mobile enough. There's no Way Watchers or anything like that to gets heavy AP DPS into them. So yeah, they were a bit of a menace. They were really sticky, hard for me to deal with. And even though they do give up the mobility to basically all the Wood Elf Cav, it's just that they have a lot of HP and armor to chunk through. So yeah, this is one matchup that they are actually a reasonably viable pick. They're not an often used unit. They get priced out, and there's just better units on the Chaos roster for the mobile options. But yeah, the rest of the list did quite well. We got a couple of pickups on the Marauders, but overall the Marauders got really good value. I mean, that's nearly double its value. That's got over its value. Both the Horse Masters have done well. The infantry basically is just, shields, soak up some ammo, just a lot of bodies thrown into the fight. 1-to-1, Chaos Marauders will put a decent amount of damage into Eternal Guards. Dryads will get through them pretty quickly, as you see here. Okay damage on the Dryads. Eternal Guard did reasonably well. Blade Singers, not so much. This one's done okay. Still hasn't got its cost back, but this one just got really bunched up around Archaon, and a nice burning head pretty much just roasted them in one. My Skirmish Cab's done reasonably well. Reasonably well, I say. They've used most of their ammo. We got a bit sort of overconfident with this one, and that got broken off in the early game, but we managed to get one flank, do some good damage on one flank. But this list is just trying to do a bit too much. I think you could probably cut both the Dryads and maybe go a little bit more mobile, or maybe just make them Eternal Guard and try and rely on the Blade Singers just to get favourable engagements and not take counter charges by sort of layering them within your Glade Guard. The Sisters have done well, but I probably should have made a bit more of a conscious effort to try and snipe Archaon rather than worry about the infantry. I mean, I've got plenty of stuff here that can kill infantry. So yeah, this list is just sort of trying to do too many things. It's not a full kite list. It's not a full sort of, the triple Way Watcher list that can deal with armor that the Wood Elves, that the Warriors can potentially bring. It's just trying to do a bit of everything, and it didn't really end up doing anything. But like I said, I was just sort of in this sort of phase over this couple of days where I played this game where I was enjoying the Blade Singers and playing a lot with them and seeing if I could make them work in as many matchups as possible. So thanks for the game to Caradrian. Have run into Caradrian a few times on the Quick Battle Ladder, and he's always a very tough opponent. It's to be expected as a member of ODM. So well played, too good for me on this occasion. Thanks to everyone for checking it out, and until next time, take care.